Okay, that was a cheeky little power chord riff I made up on the fly. Power chords are awesome, especially if you're into rock, into punk rock, lots of things really. I mean, they come up in pop and funk and all sorts of things, but they're especially common in heavy metal, rock, blues, punk rock, things like that. So, and as you saw there, it's the same, I was just floating the same shape around. All right, you have to do the faces as well. All right, that's part of the rock thing. So a 5 chord or a power chord is basically this shape here. So if we were on the 7th fret of the A string, then the next note is 2 frets up and 1 string down, so we get the 9th fret on the D string. Now this chord is an E5, okay, because this note here, if I was counting up in the E major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the 5th step. Sometimes people beef it up with their pinky on the next string, 9th fret, so you have 7 on the A, 9 on the D, and 9 on the G. And I really like that as well. I use that a lot. But if I'm playing really heavy, like if you're going like thrash metal and there's loads of distortion, quite often you'll only use 2 fingers because it kind of becomes a bit clearer. All right. So the power chord, there's basically a number of power chords or 5 chords on the guitar. But the basic ones, you have an open E power chord, which is just 0 and 2. Okay. An A5 power chord, which is open A and the 2nd fret on the D, and a D5 power chord, which is open D and 2nd fret on the G. So you got that, you know, that's Bryan Adams. Now, if it's not involving an open string, then it will be this shape that I mentioned earlier. Your finger on 1 string and then 2 frets up and 1 string down is going to be your next note, okay? So it's always going to be that shape. It's not going to be here, it's not going to be there, it's not going to be lots of these string fingers on, because that creates a different sound. A power chord or a 5 chord, as in G5, A5, or as I did there, E5, is always going to be that. Now I use my 1st and 3rd mostly so that I can have my pinky on here, so that eventually, once you got that hang of the power chords, is we can add other fingers and a bar and create full bar chords. Let's not worry about that for now. I want you to just really remember that a power chord works like this. Okay. So if we look at 16 Saltines by Jack White, we're using an E5 chord, a G5 chord, an A5 chord, and a B5 chord. And it goes like this. All right. So when we're playing it, we've got our open E5, which is open, and then the 2nd fret on the A string. Then we have 3rd fret on the E and 5th fret on the A. Then we have open A5, which is open A, and 2nd fret on the D. And then we've got B5, which is 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the A, and 3rd finger, again, 2 frets up and 1 string down, and gives us the 4th fret on the D string. Okay? And my thumb is kind of behind my middle finger to create support for not only my index but also my 3rd finger. All right, so that's a basic introduction to power chords. Let's look at how they work all over the neck. So what we're going to do is we have to understand how the names of the notes work. So if I hit the open E string, the 1st fret is an F. So if I put my 3rd finger 2 frets up and 1 string down, I get an F5. But it's my index finger, the 1st finger, that names the note. If I move that up 1 fret, I get an F sharp. And again, my third finger, 2 frets up, 1 string down. If I move it again, I get a G5 or G power chord. So basically we've got E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. And wherever I choose, so if someone says, hey, we're playing a C5, I find the C, I put my third finger down, 2 frets up, 1 string down, and I get a C5. If I'm feeling fancy, I can put my pinky down on the next string as well, and I get a slightly bigger sound. Okay, that works for the A string as well. So watch, A, first finger is A sharp, and then, of course, 2 frets up, 1 string down, and I get A sharp 5. If I move it up, I get B5, and I get C5, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. And again, on any of these shapes, I can add my pinky just below my third finger, and I get a slightly thicker sound. Okay? The thing to remember there is every note goes, we have the notes from A to G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then it goes back around, A, B, C, D, F, G. Each note has a sharp, A sharp, etc. Except B and E do not have sharps. Think of it as buzzing B, all right? A buzzing B has no sting, so B and E don't have sharps. So if I was starting on A, I go A sharp, B, no B sharp, so I go straight to C. C sharp, D, D sharp, E, no E sharp, so I go straight to F. F sharp, G, G sharp, A. And while we're on the subject, there's a couple of landmarks on the guitar you need to realize, okay? One is the 5th fret, like I talked about in the tuning lesson. The 5th fret on the strings is the same as the string below. And the other landmark is the 12th fret. The 12th fret is exactly 1 octave up. So here's open E. The 12th fret on E is an E, but higher. Here's open A. The 12th fret on the A is an octave higher. And etc. Etc. I don't know why I couldn't say that word. Etc. So go E, E, A, D, D, G, G, B, B, E, E. Okay? Now, say I needed to find a D5. I could either go, okay, the 5th fret on the A string is a D. There's my D5. Or I can go, hold on, I could count all the way up, but D is one letter before E. So I've got E, D sharp, D. And as you probably just noticed, you can do D5 here or D5 there. This comes, which one you use depends on what the rest of the chord sequence is, okay, and what the rest of the notes are. So you don't really want to be, if I'm going from C to D5, that makes no sense, but I could go from C to D5 here, much easier. So it's kind of, it depends on what the chords are around that chord, okay. So I hope that's kind of helped you today with your power chords and how to understand them. Lastly, we'll talk very quickly about a thing called enharmonic equivalence. Music is full of these massive words, like, I wish someone would just simplify. So basically, if I'm going up the scale, I go E, F, F sharp, G. But if I'm going down, I can think of it like this: G, G flat, F. So the one in the middle, F sharp, is also G flat. They call that an enharmonic equivalent. It's the same note. So again, if I go from A sharp, B, or I can go down B, B flat, A. So if someone says, hey, we're going to play a B flat power chord, it's basically an A sharp power chord. Okay, so you got A sharp, or A, B flat. Okay, so now you know every sharp and every flat and every normal power chord on the guitar. You can play power chords on the D string, but I want you to just concentrate on the E string and the A string. Getting to know those chords, they'll serve you much stronger than power chords on the D string for now, okay? All right, good luck with that.